Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a full face of only drugstore products. I have a whole bunch of drugstore items that I want to use today. Pretty much all of them are things that I have used before that I know are good products that I trust to perform well. So that's what we're going to do today. If that is something that you guys are interested in seeing, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I know that my tan is patchy. We're gonna ignore it because I have so many other things that I have to do today that we're just gonna ignore it and pretend that it's not there. So I only have two items that I want to mention that are not going to be drugstore, that I don't have an alternative for, and that I trust implicitly and don't want to buy an alternative for, and that is the MAC Painterly Paint Pot Eye Primer and the Anastasia Brow Freeze. These are two things that I love. Two things that there are plenty of options for in the drugstore. These are what I'm going to stick to today because I don't want to ruin anything. So just want to preface the whole tutorial by saying that my eyes have already been primed. So we are just going to hop right into eyes. The palette that I'm going to be using is this Profusion Harvest palette. It's really stunning. I used this in another video recently that I'll have linked. I did a really gorgeous like green smoky eye, but today I think I want to focus more on like the oranges and like the reds. I think I'm going to start out with this foliage color right here, which is a nice warm reddish brown like rust color, which is a favorite of mine to use. I'm going to take it on this Morphe M506, very inexpensive brush, and we're just going to pack it on. I'm not really doing anything fancy with this eye look just because it's not the vibe that I'm going for today. I'm just going to do a nice warm kind of smoky eye, and I'm focusing this right out here, and I'm like flicking it in. I like to start with my darkest color rather than starting with my lightest and working my way up to my darkest. It's just what I prefer. You guys can do whatever way that you want. This is just what I know works well for me. And I'm pretty much patting it in, not blending so much because I just want to get the pigment down, and I am pulling it out like that. And I'm not worrying about being messy or anything because I will go in and clean it up when I'm done blending everything out on my eyes. So I'm not really worrying about, you know, being messy or anything. And we're going to use that to blend into the foliage shade, and again I'm bringing it all the way up to my like brow. I'm blending it into that red. I'm starting off by like patting it in, which is what I'm doing with most of these shades, just so that I can lay down the pigment and then blend it out. And I'm starting like inside that foliage shade so that I have a nice blend. I am just going to go in again with that foliage shade and that Morphe M506 because I'm a little worried that I lost it. I don't know yet if I want to go in with a matte or a shimmer on the inner corner. I think I might do a shimmer because I'm feeling crazy. You know what? I am going to take a shimmer because I haven't tried out any of them in this palette yet. I'm going to take this one right here, which is called Thankful. It's like a nice champagne-y rose gold pink shimmer. I don't really want to use my fingers to put it on my eyelids, so I'm going to try it with a brush first. The brush that I'm going to use is this Morphe M421, which is just a flat shader brush. I'm going to pack it on. It's like very wet looking, you know? And on the inner corner, I'm just going to pat it in. Not so much swiping, but I'm just gonna pat it on. Just really don't want to use my finger, but I feel as if I may have to. I'm taking out my ring finger. Definitely better with the finger. Do you guys see that? I just wish I could take it like on a brush. I bet this would make a great like face highlight too. So now that we are at this stage, I like the way that this eye look looks. I am going to go in and clean it up because I think that I'm pretty much done with it now. I'm just going to take some micellar water and then some cotton swabs and just clean it up around the edges. And this is what we are left with. I am going to add a bit of liner on the top lid just because it helps with my false lashes. So I am going to use this Profusion Cosmetics Wing It Superfine Eyeliner, which is the liquid liner that I'm going to use, and then I'm going to use this CoverGirl Perfect Point Plus in Black Onyx to tight line. I did apply some mascara as well, but I am going to move on to face now. The foundation that I'm going to be using is the CoverGirl Outlast 3-in-1 foundation. I love this foundation. It's a favorite of mine from the drugstore. The other day I did use the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, but I think mine is a little expired because I did get some like random breakouts on my face. I think mine's just very old. Otherwise I would have used that today as well, because that's another really great foundation to use. But this is the one we're going to use. I like this one because you don't have to use a primer. There is a primer built into this foundation. That's why they call it like a 3-in-1. They say it's a primer, a foundation, and a concealer. But we are going to go in with a separate concealer. I'm going to use a sponge with this. It's just my favorite way to apply this foundation. You can use a brush if you want. I like to apply it straight to my face like that, and then I'll blend it out. And I'm just gonna kind of hope that this matches what's going on my body. If not, we're just gonna drag it down. I mean, we're gonna drag it down anyway, but this is a very full coverage foundation. But I know a lot of other good foundation at the drugstore are a lot of Maybelline foundations. I feel like I have never tried a Maybelline foundation that I didn't like. There's just something about them. Maybelline might be my favorite brand from the drugstore, besides like NYX and e.l.f. When it comes to foundations, Maybelline I think has the best in the game, I say, as I'm using a CoverGirl foundation. This sponge is the e.l.f. sponge. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but it's just a very good version of a beauty blender, way cheaper than a beauty blender. And it's, in my opinion, I think it's better. It's like softer and bigger. I know, my hands are so bad. That's just because, like I said, my tan is fading, and it's also because I wash my hands like 20 times a day, so don't pay attention to that. Okay, and then once we have a nice even layer, we're gonna go in with our other cream products. The first one is this e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in the shade Honey Drip. This is a really good dupe for the Huda Beauty Tantour, and I'm pretty liberal with this. I'm gonna take my Luxie 512 brush and really just pack it on, and I'm gonna go right above, and I'm gonna just pat it in. It is a bit more waxy, whereas the Tantour is a lot creamier. The shade Honey Drip is good if you are around the same skin tone as me, because it's pretty cool toned, which gives you that nice shadow effect rather than a bronzed look. And it's like very inexpensive, I want to say. I think it's under $10. For me, I personally think it is the best cream contour that you're going to get at the drugstore. Like, I've tried the deeper toned concealers, like the LA Girl one, the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop, and those didn't really work for me. Concealer, this is no surprise. I know you're tired of hearing about this concealer, but I am not over it yet. It is the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum in the shade Vanilla. I'm just going to put some under my eyes and down the center of my face where I normally put concealer. And a little does go a long way. Don't be like me and constantly use more than you need. And I'm just using my fingers with this because I feel like that's what helps it melt in really nicely into the CoverGirl foundation. And look at that. All my bags and dark circles are gone. I'm going to take down the center of my face as well to bring some balance back in. See how it just blends right in? No matter what foundation I use, this concealer always looks so gorgeous and melts right into it. The last cream product that I am going to use is this LA Girl Soft Matte Cream Blush. There are a lot of cream blush options at the drugstore. There's the Milani cream blushes, there are the e.l.f. putty blushes, but this is my favorite one because of the payoff of this cream blush, and let me show you what I mean. This is the smallest amount, and I'm going to focus it right back here, and look at that. The smell is a little off-putting, but other than that, it is like the most stunning cream blush ever. It like blows higher end, more expensive cream blushes out of the water. Like, I'm talking like better than really any other cream blush that I have tried. It's just so, look at that. You see what I'm talking about? And it's so unbelievably inexpensive. Definitely check these blushes out. This is in the shade Rosebud. I think I forgot to mention that before, but I've been loving the way that this blush looks. All right, I am gonna go in and set now. I'm gonna be using the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder. I love this powder. This is one that I keep in my drawer and then also in my purse because you can't lose with this powder. It's so inexpensive and it's so amazing. It's like a very fine powder so that it makes you look more airbrushed than you actually are. This is just an e.l.f. small tapered brush. It's what I like to use under my eyes if I'm not using one of my triangle powder puffs. So I'm just putting this wherever I put my concealer. And then the bronzer that I'm going to use is the Rimmel Natural Bronzer. This is the amazing dupe for the Fenty Sunstalker bronzer. I'm going to take this on my Morphe M530 and I'm going to just bronze my cheeks up. This is a very beginner-friendly bronzer. You can pack like a lot on your brush and still be able to blend it out and make it look good. Never looks like you put too much on, but I am going to take this banana powder again from Essence. I'm going to clean up underneath my contour because I am super messy and I always bring everything too low. This is what we are left with for face. Oh, actually I am going to add a little bit of powder blush on top of the cream one that I used. Even though that blush that was a cream to like powder, I do want to pack a little bit more on just to make sure my blush lasts. So I'm going to take another Essence product. This is the Essence The Blush in the shade Befitting. This is a great product. Essence just has a lot of really good powder products and they're super inexpensive. I'm going to focus this just back here. This is just like a little brush that I got from Profusion that they sent me with my like package. It's just a nice, you know, angled brush. And there you have it. So we are done with the face for right now. I'm gonna hop off camera and I'm gonna do my brows and my lashes. And then I'm gonna come back and we can finish it up with the lips. So I will see you guys in just a second. Okay, brows are done and lashes are on. I used the Molten lashes in the style Firecracker. These are $5. Definitely go check them out. I think it's free shipping, over $25. So buy yourself some lashes, get some free shipping. Check them out. They are amazing lashes. I have been using this exact pair for quite a while now and they still look amazing. For brows, I used the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen in the shade Blonde. I haven't used this in a really long time and it's so good. I forgot how good it is. It's such a good product. Really mimics actual like hairs on your brow and they make your brows look so much fuller than they actually are. Now we are going to do a lower lash line before we do lips because I forgot all about lower lash line. I'm going to take this shade Foliage again, which is just the darkest shade that we used in the outer corner, and I'm going to take it on this flat brush right here. This is a Morphe Ariel A19 and I'm going to push that shade in my lower lash line. And I'm not being shy with this. I'm really packing it on and I'm bringing it only like halfway in because I want to keep my eye nice and elongated. And then I am going to take this Sigma E36, which is just a small like blending brush, and I'm going to take that crop shade again, which is that brown that we used, and I'm going to use that to help blend out the foliage shade. Like I said, I'm not being shy with this. I like a pretty blown out smoky lower lash line, so if you're not into that, do whatever feels right to you. Gonna apply some mascara real quick. I'm going to use the Lash Princess Essence mascara on the lower lashes. Just got mascara, of course, right on my eye right there, so I'm going to wait for it to dry and then I'm going to take it off with a spoolie. But while that dries, we're going to go in and we're going to do lips. I'm first going to take this NYX Glide On this is a long name. Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and Definitely a Turn On Waterproof Extreme Color Lip Liner. And this is in the shade Nude Suede Shoes. I am going to go in with more than one lip liner. This is just the first one that I'm going to use. For lipstick, I am going to take this Milani Lip Fetish lipstick in the shade Pleasure. These are fantastic lipsticks from the drugstore. They have a whole like nude shade range Milani in these lipsticks. They're super creamy, which I love. I actually have a whole video where I tried them all on, so I'll have that linked up here so you can check them out. And then I'm going to take this ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade BFF3 and I'm going to focus it right here to kind of give my lips a little bit of definition. I do have a whole video where I go into detail as to how I do my lips and why I do the steps that I do, so I'll have it linked. If you want to check that out, it's a little bit more in depth, but I think that's how I want to leave the lips. I don't think I want to do like a lip gloss or anything. I think I'm going to leave them matte. And then of course, if you have seen any of my other videos, you know that my final step is always to bring back my birthmark right here. So I'm just going to take a brown liner and bring her back. So this is the final look, you guys. I really love the way that this came out. I love playing with that Profusion palette. So I've only used it one other time and I was really excited to try out some of the other shades that are in there. But I love the way that the eye look came out. I love the way that the face looks too. Like I said, I have tried all these products before and I know that they perform well, so I 100% recommend them. The lips look so stunning. I think I have found a perfect dupe for my artist color pencil that I use all the time them to contour my lips. So if you're looking to try out a lip contour pencil but you don't want to spend that much money, definitely try this ColourPop one out. If you have not already, make sure that you are subscribed and that you hit the little bell so you are always notified when I upload a new video. And I believe that is it for today's video, you guys. I hope that you all enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you guys all in my next one.